This video is sponsored by Pie Crust. Without it, your pies would just be jam. You wouldn't want that, would you? Hello everyone, it's Tsuki again, and today I'm finally over a cold, and I want to do something fun. And by doing something fun, what I really mean is giving my opinions on some things that some people will respectfully disagree with, some people will respectfully agree with, and others will completely lose their crap and complain over. So, yeah, sounds pretty fun to me. Anyways, what I'm really going to be doing is ranking the 15 jobs currently in the game from least to favorite. Now, I did a video like this back in Heavensward, and it's currently my second most popular video to date, so why not do another one for Stormblood? This sounds like fun. This video is purely meant to be for entertainment and for you to get a brief amount of insight into what I may like or dislike about certain jobs, and is in no way a ranking of how good a job actually is. I'm ranking these in order of how much enjoyment I personally have playing each of these jobs myself, not, ranking them as much as I like the jobs or like having someone who knows what they're doing playing that job, just what I personally have fun playing myself. So it's just my preferences. If you're not interested in that, no worries. Just, if you are going to watch this, please don't hate me. If your favorite job happens to be very low on my list, we can all agree and disagree with each other respectfully. And hey, if everyone liked the same jobs, then things would be boring, wouldn't it? So while I'm going through my list, feel free to share your own, because I am curious as to what people actually enjoy playing. Alright, with that little disclaimer out of the way, let's get started before this video gets any longer and I have to spend more time editing it. Yeah, I got my priorities straight. So, something has to be last. One job has to be the job I enjoy playing the least, and that job is Black Mage. Yeah. The dislike button is always where it is. Thank you for making it about, I don't know, maybe like 2 minutes into the video. See you next time. No, but in all honesty, this is really just a thing with me. I actually think that the design of Black Mage is completely fine, and they have extremely high single target and AoE numbers when played correctly. And it's pretty cool to blow up suns in people's faces and to just melt groups with flare and foul, but I just don't like playing it that much myself. I really liked Black Mage back in Heavensward though. For pretty much the second half of Heavensward, Black Mage was what I played on my alt, and I rather enjoyed it a lot back then. I liked the system of upkeeping Enochian back then as compared to how things are now. And this is going to be a common theme that you're going to see a lot, is that I like to compare jobs a lot to how they were back in Heavensward, and there are a lot of jobs where I will reminisce of how I enjoyed something better back then, so hopefully that doesn't get too annoying as we go along. But as it stands now, I just don't like playing Black Mage that much in Stormblood. I'm sorry, I just don't. I really liked it in Heavensward, I really like having one, but as for me personally, my personal enjoyment playing Black Mage in Stormblood, it's just not really there for me this time around. So maybe in 5.0 things will change, but as it is now, my least favorite job in Stormblood right now. Okay, number 14, Dark Knight. Now, unlike with Black Mage, where I can clearly admit that it's just a matter of my own personal taste, I do have a couple of legitimate issues with Dark Knight. I say legitimate, but it's probably just nitpicking. I think my biggest issue with Dark Knight is that it's actually Dark Arts Knight. So much Dark Arts everywhere, Dark Arts everything. Now that on its own isn't really that bad, except that when you add in the fact that there are some abilities that you want to Dark Arts, but then you realize 2 out of the 3 parts of your Soul Eater combo, which you will be using the majority of the time, use Dark Arts. Then you have to double weave Dark Arts into abilities in between your GCDs, which can be shorter because of Blood Weapon. Look, it is nitpicking, but it annoys me, okay? And also, I hate Living Dead. I hate using Living Dead, and I hate being the healer trying to keep you alive when you are using Living Dead. Also, Shadow Wall was finally buffed in 4.3, thank goodness, but now instead of being a crappier version of Sentinel, it's a crappier version of Vengeance. But hey, at least we're making progress, we're getting something. Now, as Chris Whistlin says, thanks for all the comments, you comment a lot. Dark Knight certainly has a lot of style, and that's true. This job looks cool and has some pretty cool looking AF armor, some pretty cool animations. I still miss Scourge, but rip Scourge. And honestly, it's probably because the job just seems so cool that I still occasionally bring it out to play for a dungeon or two, because why not? I really don't hate this job. There's a lot of things about it that bug me, and I just vastly prefer the other 2 tanks over it as it is now. But I don't hate this job, I really don't, but it is number 14 for me. At number 13, it really breaks my heart to put this here. Get it? Look, it's Machinist, alright? I actually wasn't that joking that much before, because it really does break my heart to put this job here. I want so desperately to love this job more than I actually do. This job is just, it's so charming. Just look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. My heart, please. Please be better than 5.0. Now, my issues with Machinist isn't that it's difficult to play, and yeah, it is kind of a mess at times, and it takes a lot of practice and fight knowledge to really get along well with this job, but no. My big issue with this job's design is that there's this big theme of make something do more, and then lose it for a while afterward. You can overheat your Gauss Barrel and momentarily get more DPS, but once that window is over, you lose Gauss Barrel for a while. You can make your turret explode and do a lot of damage up front, but then you'll lose it for a while. And look, when you don't have Gauss Barrel and at least 50 heat, basically all the things you get in Stormblood are completely pointless. You can't do this ridiculous and charming weapon skills anymore. You want to be overheating every minute. That means for 1/6 of your time on Machinist, you don't actually get to play Stormblood Machinist. Look, I can't be the only one who actually misses the cast time for ranged DPS back in Heavensward. I think it would have been great if they had kept Machinist more like that. So that, you know, it was like it was back in Heavensward, so that people who enjoy that playstyle still had something they could play, and then those who didn't like it would have Stormblood Blard to play, you know, with all the mobility. That would have been great, you know, to satisfy everybody. But no, we got overheating instead. And you know, it's not fun being told that you can't use your cool new stuff for a while. I mean, the heated animations are just so silly, and I love them. I really do. But it's just not fun being told, hey, for 1/6 of the fight, no, you don't get these. You don't get to use them. I mean, imagine if every time you cast a Dreadworm Trance, your Agi didn't return to the field for 10 seconds afterwards. Or after you used a damaging cooldown, you couldn't use your weapon skills for 5 seconds. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Number 12, Warrior. Okay, we're still kind of low in the ranks, but this is when I start to really enjoy the jobs and only really have small nitpicks about them. And starting that off is Warrior. You know, Warrior's fun. It's pretty satisfying seeing those 5 direct crit Fell Cleaves in a row. But it just feels like Warrior has just lost so much of its soul from Heavensward. In fact, Warrior did. Berserk is gone. Like, how? How does that happen? How did we get to the point of losing Berserk? How? We already lost Bloodbath, and heaven forbid we lost Foresight. Yeah, I still kind of miss Foresight, even though we got Rampart. But you took Berserk? You took Berserk from Warrior. Like, just, like, I don't even care. Just forget Inner Release, right? I don't... Keep Inner Release the exact same as it is now, except just make it so that it's Berserk. You know, just make it so that when you get to level 70, instead of Berserk turning into Inner Release, no, screw that. Keep Berserk. Just make Berserk get Inner Release's ability, because it's just wrong. It's just wrong taking away Berserk. It's just wrong. Hashtag bring back Berserk, please. We need Berserk back. Number 11, Dragoon. I had a lot of fun with Dragoon back in A Realm Reborn, even before they patched it so that it didn't take like an hour for Jump's animation to finish. And then I just could never really get into the job in Heavensward. So how do I like it now? It's pretty fun. Yeah, it's pretty alright. It's good utility, piercing debuff is great, 5-tier combos are pretty neat. This job is simple, and it's still pretty fun, and I don't really mind hopping on it from time to time. However, there is one thing that bothers me, and it's one of those things that seem to make sense in concept, but in actual execution is kind of a pain in the ass, and that's Dragon Sight. As a controller user, and a person who typically avoids using macros in my abilities, this is kind of annoying to have to target my party member to give them the other eye, and it's also pretty annoying to lose my buff because the other person with the eye goes out of range or just flat out dies. Other than that, Dragoon is actually pretty fun. I didn't actually expect to enjoy it as much as I did after having kind of avoided it for pretty much all of Heavensward, but playing it and actually getting some practice in with it and learning the job, it's pretty fun. It's pretty alright. Pretty simple foundation like it's always been back in A Realm Reborn, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, thumbs up for me. Number 10, Red Mage. Now look, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if you were to ask me to guess what the most popular job in the game is currently, I would not hesitate to say Red Mage. So please don't hate me, but I find Red Mage a little boring after a while. I have said several times before that I think Red Mage is probably the easiest job to pick up and learn, and I do think that the job was designed extremely well. But after a while, when that style and flair of the job just starts to wear down, it just doesn't have enough mechanically to keep me very engaged. So yeah, I do have fun with Red Mage on occasion, and I don't mind taking it out every now and then for a few runs, but if you asked me to main this job, I'd probably just go level Summoner instead. In fact, that's exactly what happened on Luana after like 2 weeks of just having Red Mage at 70. I still feel the urge to play it occasionally though, so I can't say I hate this job. In fact, I really like it. It's just, it's one of those things that have to be enjoyed, moderately, just in moderation. You just enjoy it in moderation, it's just like drinking. I don't even drink, so I don't know why I made that comparison, but just in moderation. Red Mage, it's fun in moderation. Number 9, Ninja. Now Ninja does actually get some pretty high style points from me, and I rather enjoy my glamour options for Ninja as well. I also think it was a pretty great idea to combine Dancing Edge into Shadowfang, and generally speaking, the core of Ninja didn't actually change all that much from Heavensward. The gauge does feel pretty tacked on though, and I also think that it's kind of weird that it fills up by using auto attacks rather than completing combos, or something along that matter. And similarly to my thoughts on Dragon Sight, Ninja also has one of those abilities that sounds cool in concept, but is really annoying in execution, and that is Tenchi-chin. Now, maybe it's because I haven't played Ninja as much as I would have liked to so far in Stormblood, but I find myself messing up this ability so many times because I forget that I can't move or it'll cancel the buff. I'm not used to being restricted when executing my ninjutsu combinations, what can I say? Other than my own personal learning curve with that one ability, I actually enjoy Ninja, even though I'm probably not even that great at it. It's still a lot of fun for me, so yeah, I like Ninja. Number 8, Monk. Monk is pretty much the same thing as it was in the previous 2 expansions. It's had the same core for about 5 years now, but I still can't help but actually enjoy it. You'd figure that if I could burn myself out so easily on Red Mage, that playing Monk for 5 years would have burned me out by now, but not really. I know I still have a lot of fun on it. It's very engaging, lots of fast-paced combos. You're constantly moving back from the rear and the flank, and it's still fun. But what about that ability? So for a lot of Monk fans, Riddle of Fire was kind of a deal breaker, and I admit, when I heard about the concept of slowing your GCD for damage, I was extremely skeptical because it just seemed weird. It seemed like you were totally going against the identity of Monk. And maybe it still does, but I can't help but feel pretty satisfied getting those bigger numbers when I do actually use Riddle of Fire. It's fun. It's fine. It's totally fun. It's totally fine. It does kind of break the flow a little bit, but I have to admit, there's 30% more damage. 30% more damage, I'll take it. It also kind of adds a new feel to Monk. Maybe it's not the best flowing feel, but it does add a new feel to Monk, and maybe that's why it's been kept a little bit more fresh for me this time around as compared to how it was back in A Realm Reborn and Heavensward. So yeah, still a thumbs up for me. Okay, and now we get to the jobs that I actually really like. In fact, I love these jobs. If you asked me to just play one of these for an entire patch, I'd probably be okay with that. But this is Final Fantasy XIV, we can play everything whenever we want, so I'll happily just enjoy all of these, thank you very much. But at number 7 is Paladin. A lot of people turned their backs on Paladin back in Heavensward, but I still actually rather enjoyed it back then, even though they were kinda, just lagging behind a lot back then. And then they went and changed it in Stormblood and just made it all around better. You can now block magic attacks. Fantastic. You now have a phase where you cast magic. TP is saved. You now have a GCD option for AoE damage. Our AoE still sucks, but at least it's better than nothing. And I love Paladin. It feels so dependable. There's actually a lot of combat variety now, so you're just not spamming your Rage of Alone combo over and over again like you have to, like pre-54 or whatever it is. And Paladin may be a bit rough getting on, past 50, but if you look at a lot of the jobs and how they've kind of been stripped of certain skills and abilities, you could honestly say that for several jobs. But without a doubt, Paladin is my tank of choice. So Paladin, number 7, I love Paladin. Number 6, Astrologian. Astrologian. I can't really help but feel a little emotional when I play Astrologian because I can boldly state that I was there. I was there at the launch of Heavensward when Astrologian was, well, underpowered is kind of honestly not even enough to really describe it. You know, I was there. I picked up Astrologian, you know, first day, and I got it to level 50 the first day, and since then I went all the way through Heavensward with Astrologian. You know, I saw them buff Astrologian until they went way too far. 20% balances were actually a thing for some reason, and I've seen them finally bring Astrologian back down to a reasonable spot, and you know, they're in no way in a bad spot at all. They're in a great spot. Probably the biggest weakness of Astrologian right now, over the, you know, compared to the other two healers, is that its personal combat capabilities still leave a lot to be desired. I mean, it's really just, you know, put a dot up every 30 seconds and then spam Malefic. That's it. And you get Gravity, I guess, and Earthly Star once a minute. That's kind of fun. And also, you have to be a little bit more conservative with your MP, because you don't have any, you know, ability that grants you percentage MP every, you know, minute or so like the other two healers. But other than that, Astrologian is still a lot of fun. I'm glad the spear was finally reworked into something more generally useful. I'm glad I feel more like a tactician when playing Astrologian, you know, just making the most of what I get rather than always just wanting to pull the balance, although pulling the balance is still usually the best thing you can possibly do on Astrologian. And just, you know, having more ways of using my cards is just great. You know, my first leveling experiences in both Heavensward and in Stormblood have been on Astrologian, and while it was definitely a bit more painful in Heavensward, you know, those are memories in itself. I've made a lot of memories. I made a lot of lasting memories on Astrologian, and I still rather enjoy it. And, you know, I like Astrologian. It's fun. I like it. I feel like I keep saying that, but it's true. I like just about most of the jobs in the game. In fact, I love Astrologian, so yeah. Heart of the cards. Alright, we're in the top 5 now. So what's at number 5? Summoner. Yeah. So when I made this video back in Heavensward, Summoner was last in that video, and it was because I didn't really get to play it that much. You know, back since like Realm Reborn, Summoner shared attribute points with Scholar back then, so you had to pick to put your, you know, your 30 points, or I guess it was 35 points in Heavensward. You had to pick your, you know, 35 points in either mind or intelligence, and mine was always in mind because, well, I was a healer, so, you know, I played Scholar instead of Summoner. And so I never really got a chance to really experience Summoner that much in like the first 4 years of the game, and with that technicality finally, like, we've moved on from that. You know, when attribute points are finally gone, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I finally decided to give Summoner an honest shot in Stormblood, and I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, we get Morn. We get How awesome is that? Morn. I mean, it's not as good as when like Bahamut or Nidhogg uses it. Can you imagine if our Morn just did like that constant stream, just like 5 Morns, and that'd be insane. 5.0, please make that happen. I don't care. You give Warriors 5 Decimates, okay? Just give us 5 Morns in a row. But you know, I'm not the best summoner by any stretch, and I can still catch myself making mistakes from time to time, but it's still a ton of fun, and it's one of those few jobs where I actually find large pulls to be fun. I wonder why. Can you guess why? I wonder. Number 4, Scholar. And on the other side of that coin, we have Scholar. Well, they seem to bring down the power of your fairies down a couple notches. Scholars themselves seem to get a lot more tools to round out our already vast toolkit. You know, X-Cog is now an extremely irreplaceable tool. It kind of sucks you can't cast it on yourself, but it's still extremely valuable. Chain Stratagem is a nice little utility. And we finally have regen. Kinda. It's tied to our fairy. Quite literally tied to our fairy, as we need to tether our fairy to whomever we want to regen. And we also need to use our fairy gauge to cast this. And if I'm being completely honest, this regen just feels way too clunky and overcomplicated for really no reason. It really just seems like they wanted to give Scholar a gauge because they totally needed one, I guess. They already have Aether Flow, so I don't know why we needed the gauge too, but they gave Scholar a gauge. And they found a way to make this regen interact with it, which made the regen itself way more complicated to cast than it it really has any right to be. Really, it's just a regen. It even makes it so that your Faerie can't do anything else for a while it's active, and it's just, you know, Scholar definitely feels like one of those jobs that just got their gauge tacked on. But, you know, putting aside the gauge, you know, the rest of Scholar is still really solid and fun to play. We still don't have a new Faerie, and I'm hard pressed to say that we will ever get one. But honestly, it doesn't even matter, because Eos is the best. Team Eos, all the way. Okay, top 3 now. Wow, looking at the audio files, we've actually been going through these kind of fast. Well, I say kind of fast, but it's still probably going to be like 15-20 minutes, and it's going to be even longer now because I'm sitting here rambling about stuff that isn't even related to number 3. Number 3, Samurai. I'm going to level with you guys here. About 2 months ago, or I guess 2-3 months ago, I would not have fathomed even having enjoyed Samurai as much as I have. But here we are. I love this job. I have a ton of fun with Samurai. Perhaps it's because it's just a fresh idea relative to the other DPS that we kind of have, but Samurai is just really fun. It's so much fun. While some may argue about its actual performance, the design of the job is so engaging that it's hard to imagine that we also had things like whatever the heck Machinist and Warrior were at the launch of Stormblood. I don't even know what else to say. This job it feels so fluid. It's so impactful. You know, your attacks feel impactful. It responds well to just any situation if, you know, you have the know-how to you know, work around the job. And I can't deny just how much fun I have when playing it. I keep saying that word, you know, when describing Samurai. It's fun. It is fun. Just Samurai is synonymous with fun right now for me, and I just logging on, you know, each day. You know, sometimes, you know, it feels like a chore, but when I get on Samurai, man, it does not feel that way. It is fun. It feels like, you know, the launch of Heavensward again. You know, I had so much fun at the launch of Heavensward. That's what it feels like when I get to play Summoner. You know, we're halfway through this expansion, and it kind of recaptures that just kind of giddy excitement that I have whenever I play Samurai. It's really weird. I'm spending a lot of time just gushing about this job, and, you know, it's fun. You know, the only problem I have with it, I guess the one issue I have with this job, that it should have been a tank. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't really care. It's fun as a DPS, and I'm glad that both Red Mage and Samurai were well designed at launch, because it makes me hopeful that we'll get 5.0 jobs just well designed when that comes out. You know, I don't know what we're getting. Still waiting for Dancer. Fingers crossed, right? Number 2, Bard. Bard has changed so much in each expansion, but this is probably the most true to the Bard name it has ever been, and I love it. Like I said, part of me does actually miss the cast times a bit, and the RNG nature of Bard can be a bit annoying at times, but, you know, what can I say? I've loved this job since I watched the End of an Era trailer, and I've continued to love it throughout the years. It's so much fun. We can even play real songs on Bard now. Like, actually, like, we can, the performance feature or whatever it's called, that is cool, even though I haven't touched that feature once since I unlocked it. Although, let's face it, I haven't even touched my violin since I graduated high school either, so it's just like, it's not really saying much. Oh man, I kind of miss orchestra, just a little bit. But anyways, what we're talking, Bard, yes, Bard. I like Bard. You know, like I said, the RNG can be a bit annoying. Like, it's pretty annoying not getting your refulgent arrow in your raging strikes window to use with barrage. That's kind of annoying, and also just the timing of it can sometimes make your barrage just not line up the way you want it to. It can be really annoying. Just there's so much RNG when it comes to Bard, so I can really understand why people don't like this job. But it's Bard, man. I love Bard. I've loved Bards. I love archers. I love support type jobs, and Bard just it fills that role for me just so perfectly. I love Bard. It's so much fun. You got Refresh, you got Tactician, you got, you know, your Palisades and your Swift Songs and your Faux Requiem. So that's also another thing I kind of annoying about Bard, is just I'm glad Faux Requiem is just more general. You know, you can use it and you don't necessarily need to have a caster for it to be useful anymore, but it just does not last that long. You have to cast it so often and it just burns through your MP so fast. But I understand why it's like that, because if it was any longer, it would be kind of a bit too powerful. But other than that, you know, Bard, I love this job. I really do. It's fun. I like it. Still my DPS of choice. Even though I have a lot of fun on Samurai and Summoner, Bard's still my DPS of choice. And my actual favorite job is White Mage. Never could have seen that coming, could ya? Now when I made this video back in Heavensward, White Mage and Bard were switched. So, you know, back then White Mage was second favorite, Bard was my top. But, you know, they're kind of always switching around in my head, so much so that you could almost consider them to be both my favorite jobs equally, but that's just kind of like a cop-out. So, you know, in this case, White Mage, I have to put it a little bit higher than Bard in this case. And, you know, it's just, I love healing. You know, I love healing. I've become known for being a healer. You know, I make a lot of healing guides, so I'm a healer. I'm a healer at heart. So, you know, it's just like, you know, I've been healing for a long time. You know, back in like the second half of, you know, of 2.0, when I had to switch to White Mage from Bard, I went from Bard to White Mage because no one around me seemed to be able to heal Titan hard mode, and I could. So, you know, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start gearing my healer. I'm gonna be a White Mage from now on. And, you know, it sounds like I just kind of became a White Mage, and like kind of begrudgingly, you know, but no, I made that choice, and I stuck with it because I realized that healing was something special, and I really liked it. And I liked being a healer. I liked being someone dependable that people could count on to heal, and I liked also helping other people learn how to heal. That was one of the fun times back when my free company was actually like filled with people. I would help healers, you know, become better, and that was a lot of fun, and that led me to also making guides here on YouTube for healers, and then I started making a lot of other stuff on YouTube, and here we are now. So healer, you know, White Mage and healers in general have become part of my identity here in Final Fantasy XIV and on YouTube. So it's really hard not to just be more attracted to the healer of my healer of choice. And as for White Mage itself, it's great. You know, MP, ironically enough, not an issue anymore. You got a size, you got an even better Shroud of Saints with Lucid Dreaming, and you also have Thin Air. You just cast Holy all day. You have all the MP in the world. That's great. You know, you do more damage, which is fun. You finally have a shield. You know, you have Divine Benison, and you don't even need a GCD to cast it, which is fun. It's just White Mage. It feels so nice. It feels so solid, so dependable. Again, there's not as much flair to it as like Scholar or Astrologian, but it's so dependable, and it's been my healer of choice for the past 5 years, and it still is, and it's my favorite job currently right now in Stormblood. How are things going to change when we get new jobs in the next expansion and new changes? I don't know. I really don't know. Like they spent a lot of time adding all these new mechanics, getting rid of the fluff. You know, they cut so many fun abilities. You know, Flaming Arrow, Scourge, Keen Flurry, Dancing Edge is gone. You know, that's gone. What else is gone? They consolidated a lot of the dots. You know, all the damage over time effects been consolidated. You know, you got rid of Miasma 2 on Summoner. They brought it back for Scarlet, but they got rid of it at like the start of Stormblood, like altogether. What else is gone? You got rid of the damage from Repelling Shot. You got rid of Blunt Arrow. There's so many things just gone. And then also you got all these jobs that feel like they just kind of tacked on these little extra gauge mechanics. So when Heavensward came out, I really enjoyed just the majority of the changes. So when looking at the jobs now and they are in Stormblood, there's just like half of the jobs is just like, yeah, I can really get behind all these changes. Paladin, Bard, White Mage, so many good changes for them. And then you got other jobs where it's kind of a bit more questionable, you know, like Dark Knights, the gauge on Ninja, you know, the changes, you know, the overheating mechanic on Machinist. So, you know, it was really 50-50 for me, you know, the changes in between Heavensward and Stormblood. So looking forward into 5.0, you know, if we're following trends about a year out, maybe a little less than a year out from now, we're going to get to 5.0. What are we going to get? How are things going to change? Please look forward to it, right? Please look forward to it. And that's it. That's it. I talked about everything. I went into a little rant there at the end about the difference between how I felt about Heavensward and Stormblood changes for jobs, but we made it to the end, so yeah. Okay, I guess this is the part where I do like the closing outro and stuff. I'm never any good at these, am I? Like, I ramble so much, and I just when I even actually make a script and I actually have an outro, why is it so hard? Why? I mean, that's become like kind of part of my personality. It's just I like to ramble and just kind of go off the cuff, but why is it so hard? Seriously. But anyways, that was my list. The 15 current jobs in order from least to favorite. White Mage being my favorite as it is right now. When they add Dancer, I'm totally gonna play that though. Like, I will drop okay, I won't drop everything. I'll still heal because I've been a healer for 5 years. It'll be kind of hard to let that go. It'll be 6 years of healing if we're actually getting 5.0 and it actually comes out then. And then who knows if it actually comes out then. It might not even come out at all. Not in 6.0, 7. Who knows? It might never come out. You know, they have so many choices to pick from. I mean, they picked things like Machinist and Astrologian back in Heaven's Word. No one saw those ones coming, so I don't know. I'm very curious as to see what we'll actually get in 5.0. So yeah, you know, feel free to let me know what you think they'll add in 5.0. Also, feel free to let me know what your actual favorite jobs are. Hopefully, if your favorite job was lower on my list, that you don't actually hate me. Please don't hate me, just please. I mean, it's all for fun, you know. If we all like the same things will be boring, right? I mean, imagine if we all liked Red Mage, then there'd just be nothing but Red Mages, and that wouldn't be fun for anybody, would it? No, it wouldn't. So, anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, you know, leave comments about those things I said, or leave feedback or any kind of comment you want. Leave multiple comments. I'll still read them. I read all the comments. Also, leave a like if you like the video, dislike if you hate my guts. And, you know, have a nice day. Sayonara. Bye-bye. Also, a little disclaimer at the end. I don't actually like pie. She's just pretty good, though.